everybody. Katie Lance here, founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting and the Get Social Smart Academy. And I am so excited for our interview here today. We have a very special Get Social Smart spotlight interview today with a dear friend and someone that I have known in the social media space for quite some time. Robyn Burdett is with us here today. And for those of you who don't know Robyn, Robyn has been in real estate since 1988. She's been with RE/MAX since 1995. She has listed, sold, and managed over 35 agents. She was a corporate trainer for a large multi-RE/MAX office. She ran a successful team for 5 years. She's been a national speaker for Tom Ferry. She's been on the board of directors at her local association, and she is currently on the Virginia Association of Realtors board of directors. Mm-hmm. And Robyn is just constantly learning and growing. It's one of the things I love most about her. And last year, even with so much going on, in fact, she broke her back. She had 2 surgeries. We're gonna talk to her a little bit about that. We had COVID going on. Her mother passed away, and she still sold 25 homes on her own, and she did 23 in 2019. So I'm super excited to chat with Robyn today and to hear from her. She's a longtime Get Social Smart Academy member. She's been to our masterminds. So welcome, Robyn. Thank you for being here with us today.
Well, thank you, Katie. This really is such an honor. I've known you for years, and I stalked you even before we got personally met. So I'm very honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for people who may not know you, I would love if you would just kind of give people a sense of, what area you serve, just a little bit about you, maybe how you got to where you are today. The shortened version. I know it could be a long, it could be a long version.
There's always a story, right? There's always a story.
There's always a story.
I'm right outside Washington, D.C. in Northern Virginia, Fairfax County, Loudoun County, and Arlington, where the new headquarters to Amazon is going to be opening up soon. So that's my territory. And I've been doing this for so long, I forgot why I got into it, except for the fact that I love it. And one of the reasons why I love it is it's constantly changing. We learn so much. I mean, when I started, it was books or, to go look at a listing, and the lockbox was actually like a ice skating or a rollerblade skating little key that they used to have. No professional lock boxes, no MLS. And so I've seen the progression over it and embraced it constantly throughout the years, because you either, agents don't die, they go listless, and I never want to go listless. So, although right now I could use about 20,000 listings. It's just crazy out there right now. Even 5 would be great. So, but yes, crazy. I've been doing it for a long time, and I really love it because we bring so much to the public, and we offer such a huge, valuable service. Also being cutting edge is, I think, what separates a lot of us out. And those of us that follow you, I mean, that's a big part of it, is that you're always teaching something. I mean, the mastermind I did with you 3 years ago, was not like the mastermind you did last year. You're always recreating everything that you do. And I've learned from that I have to stay on top of things.
Yeah, it's really an evolution for sure. And I know you were one of our very first Get Social Smart Academy members back when we first launched it. And so I would love if you could share, I know you learned a lot of things, but is there been 1 or 2 things that have really kind of stuck out to you that have made a big difference for you in your business?
For me, more than anything else, I think it's the idea that I don't have to go. Because when I first started in social media, I literally spent about a year watching every podcast you could think of, doing all the different, anybody had a webinar. I mean, I was watching the guy out in Oregon, and I was watching people from, all over the place, trying to pick up every single tidbit I can, because it was so new. I mean, I've been on Facebook since it kind of started, but nobody was doing business, or all they were doing was business. They didn't know about the rules of Facebook and how to do them. And so when I met you, it was like I could toss everything else away. And the thing with the Social Smart Academy is it is one spot that you could go and constantly have current, up-to-date, valid information, which is why I love it. I really do. I watch all your videos, maybe not when you do them, but I do watch them. And some of them I have I have a Katie Lance file on Dropbox that I put the videos and a lot of the things in there. And it is because the fact that you could watch it, but it's not when you're going to do the job that day, or you may just, like you did an Instagram mastermind class. I started watching, I'm like, okay, way too much information here. I'm going to have to take it piece by piece and dissect it and learn how to put it in to make it work for me. So that's what I've been focusing on.
I love that you said that. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, you just have to kind of take it like piece by piece, and it's one of the reasons why we have so much of our training on demand, because we know a lot of people like you'll watch it and then go, well, yeah, I'm going to pause this. I got to digest, digest it, and then I'll go back, when you have time, which I absolutely love. So, when it comes to social media, I mean, your business has been just thriving over the years. Has there been, anything specifically that you think you've done on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube? Has there been anything specific that you can think of that has really made an impact in terms of generating business or just staying in touch better with your past clients? Just would kind of love to hear your thoughts about that.
I guess the big thing for me more than anything else is I went all in on Facebook, but it's the video. I love video. I think it's just the perfect thing for everybody to be doing. I'm thrilled to see so many people do video. I'll never forget, I was standing in line at Remax R4, and Adam Contos, the CEO, was right behind me. And I said, okay, Adam, we're going to do a Facebook Live. What are we doing? And he had never done one. And this was like 3 years ago. And it was like, okay, I'm breaking in right now. Hi, it's Robyn Burnett. I'm here with Adam Contos. And he's like, okay, that's good. It was really kind of fun. But just being able to be spontaneous and sharing things and talking to people and getting to know, I mean, not everything, and this is one thing I've learned from you, is business should be maybe 10 to 20%, depending on how you do it. But most everything else, this is social. This is for them to know who you are. I mean, I have my business page, but so I'm doing interviews with restaurant people, or I'm doing videos of being out on the lake, or my daughter, she just turned 30 and I did a surprise birthday party for her up in Boston. And so I did a video of that. It makes me more relatable, especially because the fact that people need to know more about you to trust you. And that's what social media does. It brings the real you to trust. It's not just I sold 75,000 homes last year and I'm the #1 agent in the world. And no, they don't trust you that well. So I'd rather have them know, that I had this fabulous client that I just sold their home $100,000 over asking price in 3 days and had 2 backups. Because when the first one failed, I had another one step in. To me, that's more important than all the wee, but you got to do all.
Yeah,
so I'm
absolutely.
not good at the wee part.
Well, I love, I think one of the things you do really well is like you said, you really balance, I think, the personal and the business. And I think sometimes even now in 2021, I think a lot of agents still really struggle with that. They think, gosh, do I have to share everything? Like, couldn't I just hire someone to do it all for me?
Right.
And I get it. But I think what I'm hearing you say is like, there's so much power in just being authentic and sharing, not necessarily every moment of your life, but just that personal connection that happens on social media.
Well, and that's one of the big things too, is when you're trying to put together a social media content calendar and really making sure that you're covering all the different areas, a lot of that community, a lot of that personal really blends in. I mean, you're not going to go interview somebody that owns a restaurant that you hate, just because everybody else likes it. No, don't go do that. Find another place that you like and you want to go do it. So it makes you more valuable, and what you say is a lot more valuable, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I know we're all, walking around with smartphones, iPhones, Androids. Everyone's got their favorite phone. And we also have phones full of apps. There's a lot of apps I use. There's also a lot of apps I don't use on my phone. And so I'm just wondering, when it comes to not necessarily just social media, but social media or business, is there an app or two that you are loving right now that's helping you in your business?
I wish I had more time to learn all the 1,000 apps that I have in my phone, because I am one of those that I'll go to a conference and they'll go, oh, look at this. And it's okay. Great, I'll load that. Oh, and then I go back and go, what was I supposed to do with all these things?
Right.
Because it's mainly, some of the fun ones like the Boomerang apps and Canva, of course, and some of the other things that you really can use to help express yourself as you're doing the things you're doing. But again, it takes a lot. I wish I was much more of a junkie. I wish, I got a TikTok account, and then I sat there and watched everybody else for about an hour, and I said, okay, this is not good. The new thing on the block, Clubhouse, where all these people are in there doing rooms, and it's like you could spend all day listening to people talk about all sorts of stuff. I mean, I got in one with Elroy, Miracle Mind. He was Elrod. He was on there.
Elrod,
yeah. And he was on there, and I'm taking notes and listening to all these things. And I've read his book. I know this stuff, but an hour later, it's like, okay, that was not profitable for me. But it's hard. Yeah.
And you bring up a really good point, because I find that there's this balance of, of wanting to explore new platforms like Clubhouse or TikTok, but then there's the flip side, like you just said, like it can be a huge time suck, and all of a sudden, you look at your phone, go, oh my gosh, like I just spent an hour or an hour and a half or whatever. So
and I get these notifications that all these people are in these rooms. I'm like, do they work? I mean, they were just in another room a minute.
I know. So I'm curious, do you have any advice for kind of taking back your time management? Is there anything that you do to kind of stay on top of your priorities and making sure that, it's important to have time for fun, obviously, but also it's important that we're prioritizing what's making money, what's
right.
But with, business that's happening, that's obviously important. So,
well, that's one of the hard things about being a realtor is all realtors, in my opinion, are pretty much ADD. We have to be able to juggle thousands of things, but it also means we're very shiny penny oriented. We love the shiny penny. And so if something's new, we're the first ones out there, or at least trying it or talking to people and researching it to decide if we could do it. But at the end, is that really what's going to make you money? And I decided that my best thing is to just focus on one or two aspects of social media, not everything, because otherwise I was spending a lot of time on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm finding people now, because they're so much easier combined to actually cross post, that I don't have to spend as much time on Instagram if I'm on Facebook, because they're sharing it both ways. I do have some clients that are not on Facebook, so I need to go back and check on them on Instagram. But most everybody I have really is good about crossbreeding, as I call it. But I also really follow a lot of what you taught, is I limit it to so much per day. And I just try to walk away from it for the rest of the time. I do have all my clients highlighted in my feed, so in a room, so that I can know what's going on with them. I want to know when they have a baby, or when they're pregnant, or their dog dies, or something happens. I want to be there and just, let them know that I care, because I do. And that's an important part to me of being in real estate is that I am with all the people that are around me, and I really enjoy them all.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point. I think sometimes we get focused on, the content piece of social media, which is obviously important, and you're doing a great job with video and a lot of the stuff that you're posting on Facebook or Instagram. But to your point, it's not just about posting, it's about what other people are posting, and not just other people, like the people you really want to stay in touch with. So the fact you're being really intentional and you're staying in touch with people, and like you said, to your point, people post things about their family, their cats or dogs.
Right.
It tends to sometimes be the high highs, like we had a baby, and sometimes the low lows, right, when we're going through something as well. So No, I think that's that's great. Do you find that you're spending the most time on Facebook? Is that, you said Instagram too, but are those kind of your
Yeah,
two
I do
primary?
mainly on Facebook, but like I said, I do go back and I check a lot of the people I care. It's harder on Facebook. There's always that discussion. Should you friend all the realtors you know and all the realtor requests you know? And being with a group like Tom Ferry, I know a lot of people, and or a lot of people know me through so-and-so. Oh, I saw her, in this group or that, training or whatever it happens to be. So you get a lot of requests, and I just decided over the years to start limiting it. Now I realize that I have almost 5,000. You're probably way over that. Well, they cap you at 5, but almost 5,000. And I realize probably 90% of it are realtors from across the country, somewhere, or the world. There are other agents. So I'm starting to relook at that and think about the value that I'm bringing them and the value that they're bringing me. But right now, I, at the beginning of this year, had a friend in my office who committed suicide. She very depressed after everything going on with COVID. And so I posted on the back of for my background on Facebook, a great little Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robyn item, basically saying how important you are. That one post, my background, has been shared over 600 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all these people sharing it saying, as you guys know, I love you too. And so I was kind of surprised because I'm like, who keeps sharing things? And I think a lot of it was other realtors, but it was just so poignant. And the comments that I got, that I realized you do make a difference no matter what you do or what you say, as long as you're being, as we said, authentic. So it's just, it's real important. And I didn't say, my friend died. I just took this and it meant something to me. And I just wanted to kind of broadcast it because right now with COVID, we have so many agents that are single, that are at home and can't talk to anybody, can't see anybody. And that's not good. That's really not good. So I've been making a conscious effort to watch people on Facebook, to, reach out to people that I know, just because the fact that soon, hopefully we'll all have shots and we'll be able to go out and have glasses of wine together. Can't wait to see that.
Absolutely.
We get to hug.
I know, I miss that.
As a realtor, we're huggers.
I know, I'm a hugger. I miss the hugs and the selfies and the grabbing a glass of wine. And you really bring up some good points. And I know you've had a tough year. It's probably an understatement, and so many others have had a tough year. And I would love for you to just kind of touch on your thoughts around overcoming obstacles, because I've always admired that about you. You're such a positive person, and I know if I'm ever feeling down, I could always go to your page or just look to see what you're doing. Like you said with your what you posted, the Winnie the Pooh thing. Like I always find that you're just such a positive person, and so I just would love for you to kind of talk a little bit about that, how you think about overcoming obstacles, and maybe you could share some advice for people who might be struggling a little bit right now.
Yeah, last year was a hard year between breaking my back and double surgeries and thinking, okay, we're just going to be, another 2 to 3 weeks, because we had the surgeries January 31st. And about first week of March, my husband and I were like, oh, pretty soon we're going to be able to maybe drive and we'll be able to go do things, because he broke his back too. Don't jump off cliffs, 40-foot cliff, and fell and didn't do well. But then COVID came, and part of it at the beginning was like, okay, well, it's all right because nobody's going to want to see houses right now. So I don't have to drive and I don't have to do all these things. And so it was okay for the first little bit, but then it started continuing on and you couldn't see people and can't even talk to your neighbors so I started trying to focus differently. So I found out we have a couple of local charities, and my next door neighbor has a truck, and I put a truck out with signs saying food drive on a Saturday, and filled up the truck twice and went and took it to the homeless shelter. And so just always looking to focus outward, because it's too easy to just sit there and go, woe is me, and have another glass of wine at 2:00 in the afternoon, which I don't do, but I have thoughts of. So, I've also been blessed. I have a life coach too, and she was able to help me through a lot of the things, especially when my mother died in August. So, but it's more, I always try to think if I just focus outward, and if I find something else, it's like trying to help people that are, stuck inside. Starting at Thanksgiving, I volunteer to take food to people with some of the local food banks because they can't get out. Some of them because they're quarantined, some of them because they're too old, or they don't want to go out because they're elderly. So I just always am looking at other things to do so that I feel better about where I'm at. Other things that are you don't have to touch people with, but that I feel better when I know that if I'm making a difference, it makes me feel better anyway.
Yeah, I think that makes a big difference. I have found the same way, and when you're, feeling upset or you're going through something, if you can, help someone else, there's a lot of joy in that. And
there is. There is.
We have to sometimes get a little creative with COVID, obviously keeping safe and things like that. But there's a lot of people who could use help. You don't have to look far in your local community. So I love that. I love that you said that, and that you have a life coach. I think that's important. I think it's important to have somebody else besides, your spouse, or I've always heard it's important to have someone besides your spouse or partner, because it's like that person has a vested interest in you. It's good to have someone outside of that, who can give you some perspective. So I think that's
because you don't want to wear down your spouse. I mean, I've been married 34 years, and he's
awesome.
Fabulous. He's one of the most wonderful people ever in the world, and he would run through fire for me and be happy to listen to all my woes every day. But yeah, that'd be kind of a bummer for him all the time. I mean, it's bad enough that right now I'm saying I lost another contract. We bid $100,000 over. I can't, So, but he can handle that. So yeah, I have had a life coach for I guess about 1.5 years, and it's really great because she helps me really set my goals, stay on my goals, talk about different things that I do, get a lot of my overall business part situated so that I can really set, like right now, my big thing is I have this room behind me, and I'm going to have it finally finished so that I have a permanent video place. And with her help, we've been talking about that, already setting up the videos for the website and all the different things that we've been doing. But then you also have the flip side of, okay, so what's going on? Why are you, not as happy today as you usually are? And so it's great to have like you said, somebody else to bounce it off with, that there's no judgments, and you don't have to worry. They don't have to worry they're saying the wrong thing. Because sometimes your spouse just wants to help too much.
Exactly. This is awesome. I have loved chatting with you today, Robyn. This has been so great. And for all of the folks who are listening, we are going to stay on with Robyn, and we have a couple bonus questions that we put over on our podcast. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell button, because we have new episodes that come out each and every week. And then head on over to our podcast, because I'm going to stay on here with Robyn and ask her a few more questions that are only for the podcast listeners today. For folks who are listening to you, Robyn, I know you've shared some great advice here today. What are some of the ways people can get in contact with you if they want to reach out to you, or go to your website, or connect with you, or send business your way?
Business. Come on, bring it on. No. Easy. My name, Robyn Burdette, Y and no E. It's so funny. A lot of people go, oh, Burdette, Burdette. I go, do I look Italian? Burdette? No. So Burdette, best way to remember it, at remax.net, and on Facebook. Please feel free to reach out, on Instagram too. Feel free to reach out on either one of those. I just finished up Katie's 30-day social media and worked on my LinkedIn. So yay. I didn't
Yay.
realize how bad it was. So I was like, okay, we got to do some things on this. Fortunately, I had a little checklist I could do with Katie's help. So,
See, and that goes back to what you said earlier. You never stop learning. Like there's never like this finish line of like, I did it all. It's just, it's a progression, you know, you never stop learning. So I love that. So we're going to drop all those links below. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or on our website, we'll have all those links below so you can get in touch with Robyn. And as you're listening to this, you know, if you're thinking, well, gosh, like I need to get a handle on a lot of my social media, we would love for you to check out our academy. You can go to katielance.com/academy to check it out and reach out to me if you have any questions as well. So Robyn, I know we're going to keep you on here for just a second, but thank you so much for sharing with our listeners today.
It was great fun. Thank you.
Thank you.